Alison Dakin. I live in Golden, BC. My role at Golden Alpine Holidays is as a guide, owner, and manager. We run backcountry ski trips where we fly in by helicopter, usually week-long packages, and groups of up to 12 people. This kind of remote setting gives you a chance to really value some of the things that are important in life and to realize that they're often the simpler things.
You sing that song so well.
Golden Alpine does have a number of strong and experienced groups that ski annually with our company. The Black Diamond Group, also known as the Kim Miller Crew, is one of our stronger groups. Kim Miller, the group organizer of this trip, carefully handpicks his participants. They're made up of a bunch of industry guys who are both owners of companies such as Cloudveil, work for Black Diamond, rep companies such as Sugoi and Karhu. Kim's also known as the father figure of his group, and I think he really thinks of all his guys as his sons in a way, and in that sense he also feels responsible for them.
We go there for fun. We're not there to set any mountaineering records, even though sometimes, we definitely are psyched to push big days, and being athletes, fun sometimes is a kick-ass day that basically puts you down for 12 hours into sleep.
I've always been really honored that this particular group chooses to come to Golden Alpine for their annual trip.
I left 3 tracks. One middle one.
Get it, buddy. Woo! Let's do it. Down. When we get together, it is almost like a family reunion feeling.
His mother told him someday he would be a man. He would be the leader of a big old band. People come up from the miles around to hear them music when the sun goes down. Maybe someday your name will be in lights singing Johnny B. Are we on or not?
Becoming a ski guide is not an easy thing. If you choose to be a full mountain guide, you're looking at probably 4 to 6 years of interspersed exams, plus, again, your previous experience that also has to be quite solid. I would say it's probably on the level of a master's degree or something along that line as far as time and commitment goes. My personal goal with Golden Alpine Holidays since back in the early 90s is to gradually bring the company to a point where we can provide our guides and staff with the best possible sources of information for them to make their decisions with. This involves being a part of the InfoX, which is the information exchange amongst the BC industry, where everyone submits and receives information on their daily activities. We take the time to do a very extensive training on the first day when clients come into the lodge. So it's a 2 to 3 hour avalanche training where they learn to use their beacons, get honed on that, practice deeper burial stuff, and also practice probing and shoveling. The winter of 2004 started out really awesome. November we were already skiing. We had lots of deep, regular snowfalls. Sometime in mid-February we got a couple of significant surface hoar layers. The February 14 layer was particularly large in the Esplanade. Snow crystal was 1 centimeter and it was quite dense. particularly around tree line, although even into the alpine. It always snows when the Black Diamond group comes, and as usual, it started to snow like the day and a half before they showed up. We fly in Saturday morning and wind after about 35 centimeters of fresh snow. Saturday afternoon, after we did our avalanche training, we went out, and sure enough, things were already starting to become reactive with a small slab sliding on the February 14th surface hoar layer. Our decision on Sunday morning, after debating our options, which we realized were somewhat limited, was to try to do a standard route up out of our basin and head over to an area called Paradise Ridge that has some very mellow alpine slope that drops into nice, steeper tree skiing that's quite dense, and so in that sense is very safe. Our main problem with our route over to Paradise Ridge is it does go up and over some alpine terrain where visibility was going to be an issue. Just as we were coming the final half kilometer towards the call, our visibility really dropped to about zero. We got into a heavy squall at the same time, so we also had blowing snow, and it was really hard to see where you were going. Sean, who was right behind me, said, "Allison, I think we're maybe too far left." And I looked up and I could see this faint horizon that shouldn't have been there, and I was like, "Sean, you're right," and started to pull it back hard right, but probably didn't get more than 30 seconds further along and heard settlement. And I knew instantly that part of the group was going to be exposed to the shoulder of Cairn Peak.
Right? 15. Do a head count. 15.
As we were digging for Elmo, and when I first got Elmo's signal, I couldn't believe how deep he was. We realized he was head down the slope, and his head was actually even lower than his skis, so as we dug, we kept, exposing his skis, and then his legs, and then his back, and then his head was still even lower, and so all of this was taking time, and we were getting pretty frantic.
Someone get some warm clothing out of down.
Yeah, where's that jacket we were digging out? You got one in your pack, Dave? Another warm layer for him, Russ?
Yeah.
Here you go, right here. Get that pack right here.
Sean just immediately started giving him AR.
If you cross the ocean, take me with you when you are going at fair or market. You'll be well looked after, and you shall sleep with.
We figured it took about half an hour to actually get him to the hut, which was really great.
Oh, great. We got steps, guys. Right on, Elmo. Right on, man.
Yeehaw, buddy.
Right on. Slowly now, slowly.
And then unfortunately, we had to fly Elmo out without any companionship because of the weather conditions. The hardest part in the aftermath of an incident like this is that you just feel that you've let people down. And, the clients, your friends, the other guides involved. And so I think the human tendency is to want to run away from that and not talk about it. But I think, it is really important to talk about it. And in our particular situation, we had some things go right. And I think it's important to talk about that as well. What did go right? And can we tell this story to other people? And maybe one day when their chips are down, some little bit of it, some little crumb will come back to their mind to help them deal with their situation.
Elmo!
Loud and clear, brother. You sounding good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling really great. I'm ambulatory with a couple of crutches. Both my knees are injured somewhat, but I'm glad to be here. And just briefly, I just want to say, I don't know if everyone's there can hear me, but I want to thank each and every one of you people for what you did for me yesterday. I know that you guys saved my life, and I'm not going to forget it. Over.
Oh, Elmo. We'd do that for you any day of the year, man. That's what we're here for, and we know you do that for us, too. Everybody can hear you, by the way. We're all standing here above the hut, ready to take the last run down, and this one's for you, brother.
Right on, boys. Drop it hard for me, and I'll see y'all on Saturday. I love y'all. Over.
So the group decided, and Elmo decided that they really, really wanted him to join them again for the latter half of the week. And so we did fly Elmo back in, and it really was an awesome thing to have him back with us.
My heroes.
Might have to get you some better ones. Put studs in those things for you. You heard about it on the radio? Yeah. I made it happen. Yeah. Right on, bud. Right on.
I didn't know if everyone was buried, and along with that just kind of came a feeling of resignation. I kind of realized that there wasn't really nothing I could do, and I kind of started having thoughts that it might be the end. And so it's funny, I thought about my dog briefly, and then I thought about my mom because it was her birthday that day. And the last thought I had was I felt really shitty for doing that to my mom on her birthday, and then I blacked out after that.
I'm an admitted and acknowledged backcountry skiing addict, like all of us. And in some ways it is an addiction, because why else would you put yourself at times in danger for something that most people would consider a sport? But it's not a sport. It's a lifestyle. It's a level of spirituality that if you've never experienced it, it's hard to explain. But there's an emotional connection to it, which somehow makes it easier to rationalize the risk. I always think really hard about the people on this trip, and they're all solid people, and they have the knowledge they need and the skills to come out here as a group, and they also have the compassion for one another to never leave